Hey everyone, welcome to school day number 11 of hashtag EHS Career Month. I am Mr. Stuchko, the host of the Ninth Grade Experience podcast. And yes, I am still wearing the green shirt. Day number 11 here. I have washed it in case anyone's wondering or has seen me in the hallway still wearing it. But again, we're trying to bring awareness to career readiness during the entire month of March. So I'm going to continue to wear this shirt each day. You have a chance to win your own green shirt. Remember, if you use the hashtag EHS Career Month with any sort of picture of a career readiness activity and share it on Instagram or on Twitter, you'll be eligible to win this shirt or a sweatshirt donated from the school store as well. So remember to show what you're doing here for Career Readiness Month. Keep sending those pictures in. And if you want to sign up for any of the sessions, make sure you go to your Schoology Class Of page and find the career readiness activities in that page to let you know who's going to be here at the school to listen in on some great career readiness advice. Today, we have an episode that's going to share two guests that I had on the podcast early in the summertime. That were EHS graduates that are doing awesome things with their career. The first person you're going to hear from is Lisa MacDonald, who graduated in 2014, who is an emerging artist and wants to go into art therapy. And our second person in today's video is Senator Clarence Lam. He is a state senator in the state of Maryland who graduated in 1999. So different career paths, but really cool career readiness activities here. So if you want to see the full episodes, you can go on to ninthgradeexperience.com and find those. They are season 3, episode 1 and 2. Remember, you can subscribe as well to the podcast as well. So we hope you're enjoying these episodes and Career Readiness Month. So without any more wait, here is Lisa MacDonald.
My name is Lisa MacDonald. I graduated in Emmaus High School in 2014, and I am a Cedar Crest College student majoring in art therapy, minoring in psych, and hopefully minoring Spanish, since I am half Dominican, so I am a little bit bilingual, but I would like to improve my Spanish. And I'm also a local artist, so I like to consider myself an abstract motivation artist, which is very unique. Abstract artist that creates positive motivational art pieces, and also a motivational speaker for the youth. I basically speak about how to have a positive mindset when going through a difficult challenge, and I like to speak to young adults and teenagers. So I do a lot of different things when it comes to being an artist and a motivational speaker and a student too. So
when was it during high school that you kind of thought, hey, I can make a potential career out of this?
Well, at first, throughout the school year, I was really thinking like, oh, it'd be cool to be an art teacher and everything, and just like, I don't know. But I think it's when I started going for art clubs. I think I was a vice president of the art club the one time. I think it was my junior year. And that really got me like, wow, I can be able to do and kind of somehow lead the students and stuff like that. And that's what made me felt like I could be able to take over. But there's times that when I wanted to express my ideas and my creative side, because there's some things that I wanted to express, I was nervous too, because I was afraid to get judged or not, people like my ideas. So I kind of stayed back a little bit and just observed. So I think what made me wanting to be an artist is because I wanted to kind of be my own boss. I wanted to be I have ideas and it needs to come out, and my art needs to come out, needs to be out there pretty much.
How did you, when you were in high school, when you kind of learned more about your own disability, how did that help and impact the rest of your high school career? Like when you came in as a 9th grader, did you know a lot about your disability? And then how did that progress throughout your time at Emmaus High School?
When I was in 9th grade, I know for a fact that I didn't understand myself. I didn't understand why I have this difficulty. I've had this confusion in myself through the whole time, starting from elementary to middle school and then high school. I was still kind of confused. I just go with the flow. it was counseling and then it was also my art together that helped me learn about myself and become more aware of like, okay, this is the things I have to do. And then also going to a disability advisor and talking to her, and then going to counselor, it really helped me discover like, okay, this is who I am, this is what I have, this is what I need to work on. And it all connected very well. And then that's what made me realize, okay, so I do a little things step by step when it comes to my art and my artist life. I didn't do things too quickly, but I try to like say, if I did this, what happened if I do this? And then I keep going and going and going up, and I'm thinking, man, I have a learning disability, but look at what I can do. I can do so much, you know? So I impress myself. I am like proud of myself.
To talk about this idea that, you know, everyone is different, and, you know, no one's really the perfect individual, but we all have this inner beauty. And I think you kind of try to tie that together with all the different things you do. So how did you decide upon, you know, imperfection is beautiful as kind of like your brand, and, you know, all the different things that you're doing surrounding it?
What it all started is, my counselor helped me kind of start loving and just kind of made me be aware. He gave me a lot of different tips and ideas, and I'm very thankful for the counselor that we have in LHIC. But yeah, I think it's my art. I know my art. My art was, yeah, it was a hobby, but then it came to be therapeutic for me because it made me feel like I can express myself without judgment. I can be whoever I want to be through art. And that's what makes me the happiest. And my art has shown me so much that it made me realize, you know what? It's time to let these things that I'm putting on my art out to the world and let them know, like, this is what we need. This is what we need to understand, that we're different. We're made to be different. And we all have some kind of weaknesses. We all have some kind of disability in us. We're all human. We're not made to be the same, right? So
Yeah.
imperfection is beautiful, is what represents myself and represents my art. So every pieces I create, I paint, is what is coming out of me. So when someone purchases a painting from me, it's a painting that is from, well, obviously from me, but it's a part of me. It's my personality out there. And it's a message that's coming out of my heart, because I think we need something, especially the youth. We need some positivity. We need some love out there, you know, to remind ourselves that we are beautiful no matter of all the imperfections we have. We are still beautiful.
Can you tell everyone what you've been up to since graduating from Emmaus High School in 1999?
Sure. So happy to be here. Thank you for the invite again. And this is great. Since graduating from Emmaus High School, I went on to college at Case Western Reserve University, which is out in Cleveland. I double majored in biology and political science, and then came to Maryland for medical school at the University of Maryland at Baltimore. And then after medical school, you actually have to do some additional training called residency training to be able to specialize in a particular field. And so I did my residency training at Johns Hopkins and then stayed on as a faculty member where I am now.
Was there something in your ninth grade year that kind of led you down the path of where you decided to go with biology and political science, or maybe even in that 10th grade year, your first year in like quote unquote the high school? But was there something during that like couple year time period that kind of led you in the direction that you decided you wanted to go down?
Yeah, I did really enjoy some of my social studies classes back then. You know, I remember one of my social studies teachers in junior high, his name was Mr. Martin, and he, you know, had us actually memorizing all the different parts of the world. We would, you know, basically, I'm dating myself again, he had overhead projector. We would, he would sketch out like the capitals of the world, and we would get tested or quizzed on that. Just enjoyed like learning about where all these places were that you never heard of, and he would show pictures and you could kind of experience them through a little bit of that. But, you know, as a kid, you always dreamed of being able to visit some of these places on your own later on. really enjoyed that part of it and learning kind of civics and how basic government works. That kind of led to my interest in taking AP government, which at the time I think we could take either in 10th or 11th grade, but might have been 10th grade. But it was just really an interesting course to learn about things that you were like hearing on TV back then, or about elections that were taking place that you didn't understand much about as a kid, because you never had to vote except when your parents would bring you in to vote. So it was really neat to try to understand and learn some of that behind, what actually takes place when people pull the lever. And so, just look back on that time as really, an experience that I learned a lot from and took away, a lot from, to be able to kind of build my interest in kind of politics later on. At the time, I could take U.S. history. AP U.S. history was like the first AP class I think that those of us that were going through high school could take, because I think it was open to 10th graders for some reason at the time. And so really enjoyed that, as to learn like how the country came into being and what brought us to, where we are now and some of the challenges that we face. And then from there decided to take AP government, which I think was probably 11th grade course. And always look back on those as like really the foundational, learning and training that I had to really build my interest in politics and in policy. And that kind of spurred my interest when I went to college to double major in political science and biology. Biology was more because I was pre-med, and pre-med is not a major. And so, it was a couple more courses to get a bio major. But political science was always more of my own personal interest. And so I remember taking a course on U.S. foreign policy, and because that wasn't something that I learned much from in high school, and really enjoyed it. And from there decided, well, why not try to get this double major? And did. But that's where I also got involved really in student government at Case Western, and was elected as one of the class representatives, started in their student body government, and then carried that on into medical school too, which is a little unusual because most of my classmates weren't really interested in policy or politics, medical school, because they were much more science focused and based. But I felt like it was important to kind of keep an understanding in both. Particularly as a physician, you're there to help people. And while you can help people medically and clinically improve their lives, there are a lot of other things that you can do to help improve people's lives too, outside of the walls of the clinic and the hospital. And so that was why I decided to also carry on my interests in politics and policymaking.
You're currently serving on a committee in Maryland on the joint COVID-19 response legislative work group. I wrote that down. I had to get that exactly the way that it was there. But how has that impacted like what your work is currently now? Like, I'm sure having that medical knowledge and having that policy background has been pretty influential for you to be able to be a voice of reason in the state of Maryland right now.
Yeah, certainly. As the only physician in the Senate of Maryland, you bring a unique perspective to the legislature. And, it's really, in times like this, that perspective is really important, right? Because there are maybe that don't understand science or the healthcare system. We all, as legislators, bring different perspectives and backgrounds and experience in our jobs to share that and impart that knowledge with our colleagues there. At times like this, understanding the science of the coronavirus is really important, and how it spreads and the public health concerns and how it can strain our healthcare system, are all really critical, important pieces to understand. And so it's really great to be part of this legislative work group focused on COVID-19, because this is kind of bread and butter of what we do in the healthcare side and as a physician. But what we also want to do is share our knowledge with other people. And particularly in times like this, that's really important to do.
Would you give to students that have these multiple interests, and how to kind of develop that as they kind of go forward in a unique way that you were able to take your love of science and your love of, politics and history and kind of meld that into a career for yourself?
Yeah, so my advice to students is really to find something you love, and or areas that you love to work on and learn from, and continue pursuing them. That what you're learning at Emmaus High School really sets the foundation for you to be a lifelong learner, regardless of whatever field or area you go into. You'll continue to learn throughout your lives, and being able to do this is really important because the world is changing so much, right? And so, it's really important for you as a student to find those areas that really interest you, whether it's history or science or math or English, and find a job that you can do in those areas that you really enjoy doing, because it's going to be a long career that you will have, that whatever you choose to do in. And so you have to find something that you really enjoy, because what I found is that if someone is working in an area that they really just don't enjoy, eventually they'll work their way around to a different role or a different position, probably in line with what they wanted to do or enjoyed to begin with. And so, while I really did enjoy the science and the, learning about medicine, I also enjoyed, politics and policy making, and, was able to blend those two together, to bring those two areas together. And, that I found to be really rewarding and satisfying, and encourage others to find, those pathways forward too.